Steel Toe Morning Show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Steel Toe Evening Show. I'm Aaron, that's Mike Lindell, because April, and I'll check on her in 2 hours, quite possibly dead. I know that Jesus called this morning. You heard Jesus call into the program. And Jesus did inform us that my time was up and that I was going to die tonight. That so far has not happened. So far, I am alive. A little better than this morning. I was really not feeling well this morning. And then picking up the kids after that and, making sure the kids were all right and getting a show prepped and all that stuff. It was, not the funnest thing to do while you're sick, but, every time I would go up to check on April to see if she needed anything, I magically started feeling a lot better when I got to look at her because she was just, hot and both sexually and temperature-wise, am I right? She was just, she wasn't feeling well. Head pains, chest pains, cough, the whole deal. And it picked me up. It's always like, even if you love the person, if you see them doing worse, you're like, well, now I feel like an asshole if I complain. So that kind of kept me going in an odd way. So here I am, another evening show. I did talk to Matt. I asked him, hey, do you want to do this one? He had some prior commitments. The kid was home and everything like that. So otherwise, we would have had Matt here tonight. It's just me. 2:30 away from the goal. I mean, I can be talked into overtime tonight. I'm not feeling the greatest, but I gave them 4 hours this morning. This morning I was feeling like shit, and I was going, guys, I'm probably gonna do I'll play it hour by hour. And this fucking audience. If we're running at 110% and doing an amazing show and just incredible work, we'll sit here in the last 5 minutes and we'll rattle this fucking offering plate and hope people throw enough in there to knock it down to zero. I go on and I'm sick as a dog. I'm by myself and I say, guys, I got 2 hours in me today. Then they just start throwing money at me and go, no, come on, you got to stay on. And I'm like, no. I even told them at the beginning of the show, I'm covering the goal today. I've got it. I'm coming on here sick. I'm coming on. I talked to them. We were all set to go. And then all of a sudden, they're just, there it goes again. Oh, Christ. Well, welcome to the show. As I was saying a little bit ago, and yes, I know the stream cut out. We are back. Welcome, everybody. Share the show, etc., etc., etc. Well, this morning, I said that we were going to, we were going to be on for 2 hours. And then the audience just starts throwing money at us. And I said, guys, I'm on for 2 hours. And then they got us under 200. And I'm like, well, I always ask you guys in the morning, if you get under 200, we're looking great. We're going to knock this thing out probably before 9 o'clock. And you guys we're going to wait till the end. Today, when I'm like, look, I'm only going 2 hours. I'm sicker than shit. I'm going to go up. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to rest up. Whatever we're short by, I'll cover it. Don't worry. And like a bunch of like sadistic bastards, they go, no. What are you going to do if we knock this thing out for you? I'm like, well, if you knock the thing out, I'm going to feel shitty about leaving. I'm going to feel like I took the money and I ran. So they played on my guilt of being an e-beggar. And I said, if you knock it out, I mean, I guess I have to stay till 10. And then boom, 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 boom. They just knock it out. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll drag ass until 10 o'clock. And drag ass I did. Still think it was a wonderful show. So did that. And now tonight, April's still not feeling well. Matt can't do the show. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go till 9. Especially after that outage just now. We'll go till 9. It's the last evening show of the week. And if we knock it out, I'll just keep the same rules. If we knock out the 2:30, I'll go till 9:30. I'll honor the overtime, if you will. K Fallen and a couple other people said, call Johnny. My only thing about calling Johnny is he's already done a show today. I know he's got doctor stuff, and I had the kids all day, so I didn't have time to, talk to him or anything like that. So we'll do this. We'll do the show. We're doing it. We'll do the show. We'll have a great time. Like, subscribe, share, the whole thing. And then I've got some stories for you. I've got some stuff to talk about. And then I think April is aiming to be back tomorrow. She'll absolutely be here for Rumble Friday, but she's aiming to be back tomorrow. I'm aiming to be at boxing tomorrow. I want everybody to be asymptomatic tomorrow so I can go to boxing. If they're not asymptomatic, I might take myself golfing. We'll see. We'll see if I can take myself golfing. MN Viking says, how was the anniversary show? Will you guys have any more shows this year? Should do more public events if you guys get time. Good job with the show. Keep up the good work. Hope you guys feel better. Anniversary show was incredible. It was so incredible that everyone who hates us is like sucking on sour candy. Like watching them not be able to deny the incredible success we had and just be filled with hostility and anger is lovely. That fat-titted, fucking slunt-shouldered nerd, I mean, watching that fat onion fuck have to choke on his... I mean, he lies about everything. That guy cannot tell the truth to save his soul, and he think he's some kind of gimmick worker. He's really just a fat tard with no talent. I mean, if you can't see through him, you've got a double-digit IQ. But even he couldn't make it look bad. And you know he needs to because we're the only reason he has a show. I hate Chad Zumock with a passion, but Chad is right about one thing. If it wasn't for Chad and me, that guy would be dead, rotting, nobody watching. I'm his father. There's no other way to put it. You can call that arrogance. You can say, oh, Aaron's such an arrogant son of a bitch. And I 100% am. You're right. But I'm only arrogant because I have a bunch of people hating my guts that I know I am far superior to, and that I know they really don't have any actual grievance for me. So they have to make shit up, and I get to watch them make shit up, and it's like watching retards try to recover a fumble, and it makes me laugh. It entertains me. So when I watch us have an amazing show, and I watch us do an incredible anniversary show, and then I see him, I know that he wants to call it the biggest piece of shit. No, he's been exposed, and because that's what his whole gimmick has been building towards, the death of Steel Toe. He couldn't kill me. I Napoleoned this motherfucker. And it wasn't hard. It wasn't like Napoleon defeating the Five Empires. This was like Napoleon beating, I don't know, maybe the Papal States is about what it would be. A very minor kingdom. And the fact that he couldn't even muster an offense for that anniversary show, perfect. Because this guy will lie about anything. You look out at the sky and he'll go, it's orange, And he will swear up and down and you go, dude, it's clearly blue. Well, show me where I ever said it was orange. And he'll be like, right there. He'll be like, nuh-uh. And he'll be like, oh, I can't talk to you. You're retarded. So that was awesome. So I accept his unconditional surrender. That was easy enough. Then you've got all these other shows that hate our guts. Don't even bring it up. Don't even talk about it. And by the way, that was very smart of them. Like Kevin didn't want to bring it up, didn't want to talk about it. That was actually something Kevin did right. Was not just skipping right over it. I saw that on Gino's show today. I was watching Gino's show and he showed a clip and Kevin got the anniversary show got mentioned. He goes, yeah, I don't want to talk about Gino. Hey, they're not talking about it. And I was like, no, that's what you have to do because it looks terrible if you talk about it. We had fucking hundreds more people than he's going to have at his event. And what he's going to have to do is just move on. You talk shit about it all the week before. The photo evidence, if the photo evidence is there and you try to make it look like it didn't go well, you're just going to look like a really retarded douchebag. And all the normal retarded douchebags did look like one. So to Kevin Brennan's credit, he's not, and Shuley and all those guys, they're not dumb retarded douchebags. They're like, you know what? We can't really shit on Steel Toe for that one. You know what? He's just we're gonna move. We won't mention it. We won't talk about it. Doesn't look good for us if we try to deny the success they had. So I like that. And by the way, to hear Drunk on Cringe saying he's becoming a Steel Toe fan, that just makes me tickled. Drunk on Cringe says, leave KB alone. I did. What? You saw on Rumble Friday when Gino's sitting here. I'll tell you this. I love Gino. He's a friend. He's great. He's awesome. But I even told him on Rumble Friday, and I told him on the golf course and everything else, when he would say anything about Kevin's wife, I go, I can't follow you there. Like, that's not, I'm sure she's a wonderful lady and she's very nice. And she probably doesn't like any of this shit. She's probably tired of this stupid teenager horse shit that these senior citizens are doing. Bob's tired of it. Bob's wife is tired of it. I told them months ago they were going to get tired of it, but nobody listens to me. Again, I'm just, I'm an even more right Gino, where I tell these guys, I go, you can call me an idiot, I'm retarded, I'm fat, I'll be divorced in a year. Okay, that's fine. But now address the things I said. Say all of that stuff that helps you get all that coat out of your body and out of your pores and everything else. That's great. Now address the things I said. You guys will be tired of this in a few months. You'll drive yourselves crazy. It'll consume you. It'll be your entire life. And then it became your entire life and it consumed you. And now you either are miserable or you're going, I really need to scale back off of this podcasting stuff and spend more time with my wife and my family so that I can have a real life and not be podcasting all the time. It's all happening. All you got to do, if you want to know what you're supposed to do, just call me. I will make it easy for you. I don't understand the hate. I really don't. I don't understand the hate from any of these people. All you need to do, watch the show. I don't know how you could hate this show. You can think that it's boring and just not want to watch it like Drunk on Cringe usually does. Just like, it doesn't really do anything for me. It's just kind of boring. That's fine. That's totally great. But hate it? For what? We have a great time. We put up great numbers on 2 different platforms. We're growing on both of them. Sold out shows. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? It's a fucking blast. What do you want to do? Drama all day? Oh my Christ. Drama all day? Really? What are you? Not only are you 12, but you're gay too. And not like gay, like, oh, dude, that guy shoots like he's gay. I mean, you want a penis to invade your anal cavity. And you want it to repeat the in and out motion, thrusting forward, tearing at your anal cavity with each thrust until a sweet release of semen fills your back door. That kind of gay. If that's what you're into. What are you going to do? Talk about topics? Yes, because I'm not gay. I don't like dicks in my butt. If you do, that's wonderful. But be honest with what you are. That's all. So at any rate, what I'm trying to say, long story short, don't hate this show. Love me. Sure, I'm a brash, cocky son of a bitch, but honestly, if you think about it, I'm a lot more humble than I should be. I'm sorry, Drunk on Cringe. I like doing that at the end. So anyway, that brings me to my next thing. The potato. The potato got in touch with me yesterday. For those of you who don't, a lot of people don't know because they're not, most of our audience is not into that world. But Cardiff Electric, he's a guy who, spends a lot of time streaming. He's a cartoon potato. We've had him on the show before. Nice enough guy. Always been nice to me. I mentioned on the show, and thank you, Supermom, for becoming a Steel Toe bro. I appreciate it. And thank you, Drunk on Cringe. By the way, did I not tell Drunk on Cringe a month or 2 ago when he discovered this show and he's like, it's kind of boring to me. Did I not tell him he was going to be a fan? Motherfucker, I hate this. I hate it. It's a curse. It's not a gift anymore. I used to think it was a gift or a gift. this being able to call shit and then having people spurg out at me. I hate Steel Toe. Fuck him. He's done. And then 2 months later, they're saying the shit that I said they would be saying as if I implanted it in their head like I'm Yuri from Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. And now I got drunk on cringe going, you're on fire. I love it. I told you you would. Why am I shouting at him? He likes me now. I need to, you know what? That's one thing. That's where the haters are right. I need to stop being such a punitive host where people are like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, I told you I like you. Stop beating me up. You're right. Sorry. Anyway, thank you, Matthew Jenkins, for liking the Command and Conquer reference. I figured somebody would really adore the shit out of that. So anyway, the potato gets a hold of me. And the potato says, hi, I was wondering if you would do a segment with me on... you would do a segment for WATP. I'm like, okay, I love Carl. Carl's had me on the show a few times. I know his audience thinks I'm like the ultimate heel, and I have to tell you, I fucking love that. Anytime someone says Discord or Reddit, I go, oh, they hate my guts. Because I bag on Discord and Reddit all the time. I'm like, just do your fucking show and go live your life. Discord, Reddit, leave that to like hate-filled fans. That's where they get to emote. That's where they get all their poison out. That's totally fair. But don't go in there and be a part of it. It's beneath you. But he goes, I was wondering if you'd do a bit for me on WATP. I'm like, okay, I like Carl. That sounds good. And then I think it was Citizen M and another guy goes, no, Aaron, you got to look out for the potato. The potato is out to get you. And I'm kind of doing a, say it isn't so. I'm kind of feeling like Michael Corleone. I can't conceive this betrayal that he speaks of. And I'm like, no, the potato wouldn't do that to me. So I write to the potato. I'm like, hey, you want me to come in there and like heal it up? Because I know that audience is not a big fan of mine. And that really, I like that. So you want me to come in there and just heal it up with you? And he's like, oh yeah, it's not going to make you look good. And I'm like, fucking great. Let's do it. So like when the potato tells me up front, like this is not meant to make you look good. I'm like, great. Because if you're Carl, you got to give your audience what they want. And what you got to give your audience, if you're going to have me on, Carl doesn't want to be shit on by his own audience. He doesn't want that. And his audience can't help but hate my guts. And I think it's because I don't want to go back to that John horse shit again. If other people want to do it, it's very lucrative. Good for them. I hope they make $1 million. And they all get to buy a beautiful summer home. I hope they make a shitload of, I want everybody, whether I like them or not, whether they've been good to me or not, I want everybody to make money. I do. Me first, but then everyone else. So when people they start to tell me, the potato's out to get you. One of the puppets is out to get you. And I'm like, first of all, the potato and the puppet can't get me. I do a show. I'll just go live and my fans will like it and we'll do that. And, so on and so forth. There's no getting in this world. In like podcasts and shit. The only getting is if the person being got doesn't know how to handle it and fucking melts down and looks like a buffoon. Everyone else just hit end show when you're done and go, okay, we'll do that again tomorrow. So I'm like, really? The potato's going to fucking try to get me? So I just wrote to Carl. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to heal it up for this Cardiff thing that I'm doing. Because Cardiff says, hey, this isn't going to make you look good, so should I just lean into it? And just to kind of see what Carl wants because he's the host of the show. And Carl texts me back. He goes, honestly, I have no fucking idea what Cardiff does week to week. Like, it's a total surprise to me. So, whatever. I said, all right, I'll play it my way then. So then I got, and I want to catch up with Citizen M in the chat here. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Ace of Spades, for becoming a member, and also Samuel for gifting a membership to MN Vikings. So thank you very much. We're 215, by the way, away from tonight's goal. Thank you. So, and I'm looking through the chat here. I had to throw out a few thank yous. Supermom, great to have you. Says, I didn't think I would like this show. Then I went to the anniversary show, and now I'm hooked. Thank you. So they said, watch out for the potato. The potato's out to get you, so on and so forth. And I'm going to tell you right now, I may be walking into a trap, whatever, but nobody springs a trap quite as stylistically as I do. So if they want to come in and go, oh, it's a trap, they're going to try to get you. I can't be gotten by the potato. And I like the potato. I don't think the potato's out to get me. But, you know, in the wrestling world and in the boxing world, you learn how to be a shooter. And if someone tries to shoot on you, you stretch them. So as far as, I like the potato. I don't think he's up to any nonsense because he told me right out, he's like, I'm going to try to make you look bad. I'm like, oh, cool. I can play off that. So I was wondering to myself, is it dirty if there are accusations of this guy's out there to make you look bad? And people have been sending me shit from the WATP community. I'm not asking for it, by the way. I mean, if you feel like it's helpful, great, whatever. And I've been looking, and they've been sending me stuff, and I'm like, I don't feel any heat from this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have a great time with the potato. He'll probably do some hacky stuff because it's a question and answer segment to test my manliness. There will probably be some jokes about April and the sex stuff and all that thrown in there. And here's what I think's going to happen. I'm going to have a great time hamming it up like I always do. I'm going to go in there and play the heel. And Cardiff is going to do some shit to make me look silly, and the WATP audience will be like, oh, fucking got him. And then by the end of it, the audience will be like, Cardiff, you were supposed to kill him. Cardiff, you were supposed to fuck him up, you traitor, not make out with him. I kind of feel bad for the potato, like he's setting himself up to be gotten. Because the last time someone from another organization tried to have me on their show, I played the heel, I smiled, I told jokes, I smacked around that the trailer park guy on the Shuley Network, and Ray and I had a wonderful conversation in between him consistently trying to ruin the show. And everybody jumped on Ray. Oh, you fucking let him off the hook. Ray didn't let me off the hook. I'm just better at this than all of you. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's my profession. I should be. It would be embarrassing if I wasn't. But as far as we're going to get him, how many times, I'm like Trump to these people. How many times are you going to think you've got me and I just turn it around and beat the shit out of you and then go off and do my own thing and leave you guys to do whatever it is you're doing? I've done this, 6 different times now? How many times do I have to do this before people go, oh, maybe I should just play it straight? Aaron usually does great appearances as a guest. He's usually very funny. And he gets the audience to emote, whether they love him or hate him. He's a firebrain. He's a lightning rod. How many times until you do that? Well, anyway, long story short, I know some of you have been like, oh, I think they're going to try and pull some shit or whatever. I think Carl's fans are very excited to have a steel toe segment on that they're being promised because they think, oh, we're going to fucking get this guy. We're finally going to get steel toe. I'm going to heel it up and I'm going to play to that crowd. The potato's going to get a few shots in, and we're going to play off each other very well, and I think it's going to be wonderful. I'm very excited. And then tomorrow, if April's feeling better, we're going to be on the BYB. We're going to be on the Backyard Boys podcast. And if you guys want to throw some BYB links in, that would be very cool as well. I love the Backyard Boys. So we've got a busy day tomorrow. I hope everybody's healthy. So watching Gino's show today, I'm thinking to myself, and I said yes. You know what you ought to do? Since you watched Gino's show and you saw this, Kevin Unhinged thing, for the first time in a long time, tune into MLC. See how it's going. So I turn on MLC. And I swear to God, you guys, it's like I went away and experienced time moving forward. And then I went back to this thing and it got stuck. I think what I found was a hole in theoretical physics. I left a time warp or a time loop, a whirlpool in the river of time. I left the whirlpool, swam back around, went into the whirlpool again, and time had stood still. Because Kevin was yelling at Bob because Bob was texting with Chad. And if you're texting with Chad, then I guess you're a bad guy. And if you are texting with Chad, you need to stop immediately because you can't be friends with him because I'm not friends with him. And he was mean to you, so you can't, blah, 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 so on and so forth, whatever. And then he was screaming about Chad stream sniping him again because Chad's stream sniping him again. And he goes, Chad said he was going to be done stream sniping him. I'm like, this is where I thought I was stuck in a whirlpool. I'm like, you guys listen to what Chad tells you. And then you go, oh, we can trust him. Chad said he was done stream sniping, and now he's stream sniping me. Right. Yes, he will continue to fucking do it. So that was really fun to go watch. And Bob, by the way, is the healthiest one out of all of them, because Bob's like, I'm getting rid of a lot of my podcasts. I want to spend more time with my wife. This is all getting retarded. The problem is people abuse Bob Levy's kindness. Like, I don't text Bob Levy anymore. I think the last time we exchanged texts was he told me that the April and I fight was really good radio and he was really entertained by it, and don't listen to these retards shitting on you. And I'm like, Bob, it's okay. I've been doing this long enough. You know, I can take this is nothing. And he's like, okay, cool. And then I mentioned that on the show, and then I think one of his co-hosts, I don't know if it was Shuli or Kevin, they got mad, and there's like, no, that text never happened. No. I'm like, okay, I'm not here to get Bob in trouble, so I'll just fucking, hands off. I don't want to fuck with the guy's money. So the problem is a lot of people don't have that common courtesy with Bob Levy, and they get him in trouble because they know he'll respond. They take advantage of Bob's kindness. And they'll text Bob and they'll talk to Bob. And, then Kevin will find out that they're talking to Bob because the person that's talking to Bob is a duplicitous piece of shit. And then he makes sure everyone knows that he's talking to him. Oh, my Christ. And again, it's just people taking advantage of the guys. Everybody goes, oh, Bob's a fence sitter. Bob's not a fence sitter. Bob's trying to be a normal human being. And he's going, these podcasts aren't real. Life is real. Podcasts are they're a show. And he's talking to everybody. But then everybody texts him, and they're like, you got to be on my side. Are you on my side? Are you on their side? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's too fucking much. So I'm watching that, and I end up watching MLC. I was going to tune in for like 5 minutes. I was on for like 15. I hung in there a little longer because Kevin was just yelling at Bob nonstop. Then I'm like, oh, if Chad's stream sniping them, I'm going to go watch one of my first victims. I'm going to go watch my beaten victim Chad. It's like checking in on a vassal state. So I go and check in on Chad, and he's fucking roasting the shit out of that fat-tittied onion. And he's actually making a shitload of sense. It was incredible. I even wrote in Chad's chat, yes, that was me. And I said, look, Chad, I hate your fucking guts, and I'm sure you hate mine, but you are spot on this one. I gave him his credit. Because Chad was saying, like, this guy was a fucking nobody. He's doing nothing. He's a fat, lazy nobody who probably doesn't get up. He also lies about everything. And he pointed out, he said, if it wasn't for me, meaning him, meaning Chad, and Steel Toe, he said, if it wasn't for me and Steel Toe, this guy would have nothing. He was doing 4 viewers at a time. His videos were doing 150 views when he went live. He would have nothing. I mean, it was Steel Toe and Chad that rescued him. And he's absolutely right. And, the fat-titted onion, he can deny it all day. And he lies constantly. I mean, this guy, the amount of changing reality he has to do just to be able to be comfortably okay with living with himself is remarkable. I've never seen that amount of delusion in anyone. And I came up in the radio business. So Chad starts talking about how we rescued his channel, blah, blah, blah. And we did. And I'm like, holy shit, Chad. It was like watching a cripple get up out of a wheelchair and walk around for 15 minutes, quoting you, Stephen Hawking, and then sitting back down and just drooling. Watching Chad go on that rant. Citizen M says, Melton admits Steel Toe rescued him. Yeah, but he doesn't pay homage, and he should. Anything less than paying homage to me, that's absolutely being dishonest. Because he's still like, oh, I'm his equal. He's not my equal. I rescued him. I'm his podcast father. We had a giant event. He couldn't draw 10 people to a steakhouse if he was giving away half-price tickets. To the steakhouse, not even to a comedy show. If he needs to bend the knee, he needs to pay homage, or I know he's a phony. He's a remarkable phony. He's doing a character of what he wishes he always could be. And I felt like Chad Zumock was operating, and this is ridiculous, but Chad, believe it or not, was operating at a level of honesty higher than fat-titted onion guy usually does. And to watch Chad go on that rant, I had to say, I was kind of impressed. Hobo Chili Recipe says you gave birth to a hack. I really did. See, he should be bending his knee, paying homage, and probably paying tribute as a vassal state to me. I'm also a far superior broadcast. I mean, I don't even want the two of us compared. I'd be insulted. If he dreams he's in my league, he wakes up and apologizes. If he's honest. But to watch Chad go on a rant like that was actually remarkably impressive. And he deserves credit. April says, Fat-Titted Onion and Chad are both remarkably awful and cowardly. They don't belong in these circles. Not in our circle, no. I mean, this is more me from the clouds looking down upon them in the mud. You know, of course, he's the mud shark, you know. That's weird. Yeah, I like that. Owlby Joshing says the potato dresses as an onion. I would like that. That would be funny. I would enjoy that very much. Oh boy, let's get into this now. Let's do a show. That felt good. And you know who was really egging me on there? Drunk on Cringe enjoying that segment kept me going. If Drunk on Cringe hadn't been like, fucking right, love it, awesome, I'm digging this shit, I wouldn't have said anything. I probably would have cut that off a long time ago. But you know, I have to admit one thing. I do enjoy not being involved with this shit, but still kind of watching it from the peripheral, because you get to see things that you didn't see when you were in it. And I know this is, again, the haters are this is going to make them upset because it's going to be me being arrogant again, but it's just the position I'm in. This has been a remarkable week for us. It's been filled with victories, and both personal and professional. But, and again, they're going to really, really hate this. But when I'm in the peripheral and I'm analyzing these things, I can't fucking miss. I have these people down pat. Again, I've been doing, I hate to sound like Opie here, I've been doing radio so long that I know what every move is. So when you're inside, it's hard to see the punches coming. But now I'm outside the ring. I'm an analyst. I'm a Jedi. I watch this stuff and I can go, oh, that guy's doing that. Oh, that guy's doing that. So like when they pull all these dirty moves and all the guys in the game are going, how could you pull that dirty move? I look at it from the outside going, how did you not see that move coming 3 fucking weeks ago? Yeah, Triple N says, you're doing radio since you were 18? I mean, what, 19. I was 19 when I started doing radio. Victor says, put a Fight Like Hell shirt on the potato. It can be a Cardiff Crowder potato. Oh, yes. Remember, sometimes Steven wants a potato. April says, you guys don't understand that I missed the show and would 100% be on if I could right now. My throat and cough aren't suitable. I'm only doing this rant because April's not here. April gets exhausted with this stupid horse shit very, very fast. But I've been a broadcaster for so long that I love watching these people try to be cute, only for me to sit back officiating, not being involved, going, oh no, that's that, and that's that, and then watching them go, no. And then 2 months later going, it turns out it's exactly what it is. I enjoy it. Drunk on Cringe says, just tried to hand Shuli freedom twice in Twitter DMs, but he refused. What do you mean you tried to hand him freedom? Shuli's doing his own thing, isn't he? And I've always said this about Shuli. I don't really see the harm in Shuli. He's got a retard for a producer, but like it seems they're doing fine, so you can have a retard for a producer if you're doing well. And he seems to be doing well. I want everyone to make a lot of money. It's just that the Fat-Titted Onion probably owes me a couple bucks because it probably owes me 80%. Let's be honest. He's nowhere without me. He needed someone as electric as me because there's no charisma with this fucking guy. Me got it in spades, baby. And I rescued him. So he does kind of owe me, but it's dirty money. I don't want to touch it. Plus, I guarantee he needs it. You don't want to be emasculated that badly by your wife out earning you. And if he gives me what he owes me, his share isn't going to be enough to keep the internet on. So I don't know what that means. You tried to hand Shuli freedom twice. What did Shuli do? You got to remember, I only see this shit if I see something on Compound or if somebody sends me something. So in my opinion, Drunk on Cringe, Shuli, he just does a show every day, doesn't he? He's trying to, from what I understand, he's trying to do like a whack pack thing. He's trying to get his own whack pack going and check in on him, and that's his show. And, look, I'll tell you something. If he can pull that off, that's easy money. People tune in to watch the freak show. He can be like the sideshow morning program, and people will give money to hear from these people. So it sounds like an easy way to make a living. And he has a family, doesn't he? Yeah, that's why I can't, like, people who have kids and shit, I can't get on them too bad for what they're doing, because I want people's families to be taken care of. I want them to make money. It's a fun way to make a living. I want all those guys to make good money. I just want them to calm the fuck down and not take it so seriously. Jesus Christ. April says, you are correct, boss, but I'll enjoy watching you have fun. Yeah, I like this. I've been going on too long, I know. People are just egging me on. They like it, so, what are we, 37 after? We'll be fine. Get the goal under 200 by the top of the hour. We're at, 215 right now? We'll be all right. And I'm enjoying Drunk on Cringe. I like when my predictions come together, and I'm trying to be nice about it. Shuli is a Shuli and acts like a Shuli with Shuli intentions. Okay, but here's another thing. This is where Drunk on Cringe might hate me. Shuli's Jewish. He can't help it. And I don't mean that as a joke. Like, we are all, like, I'm a big angry German. I yell a lot. Even when I'm happy, I'm yelling. That's the way Germans work. Jewish people have their own tendencies. So you can't sit there, oh, Shuli talks a big game and then he's cowardly and hides behind other people. It's like, yeah, it's not his fault. And again, he makes good money doing it. Shuli, I think, is a wrestling guy like I am. And I think he understands the value in playing the heel. So you got to remember that too. I would say that to the fans. Look, I've been shitting on the podcasters today saying, you guys got to take this shit, stop taking this shit so seriously. You're doing a show. You also, and like I said with the fat-titted onion guy, you got to admit that I'm your hero. I saved you, and you owe me big time. I don't want you to ever pay up, but I just want you to know that I got you, bitch. You're mine. You belong to me. This weekend, I appreciate that you handed me your sword. You admitted defeat. I accept your surrender. That's great. But I also deserve a proper bending of the knee. But as far as the fans go, you guys got to understand that these guys are working you too. You got to be a smart mark, not a dumb mark. You got to go, oh, we're all playing a role here. My role is the fan. I'm watching the show. And then when it's over, I go off and I do my own thing. I live my life. We'll see you again tomorrow. You're part of the soap opera too. Don't let the soap opera run you. Drunk on Cringe says, we had a little fight on Twitter. I tried to be the bigger person, but he said, nah. Well, that's the problem. You tried to be the bigger person on Twitter. Don't start shit on Twitter. Don't. Unless you're willing to be a fucking dirty, filthy scumbag about it. Like when I fuck around with people on Twitter who fuck with us first, I'll just make some snide, douchey, shitty comments and then either mute or block them. Because I just like them reading the shitty, awful comment and them gearing up to type, and then all of a sudden they see they're muted or blocked and they go, oh, that piece of shit, that fucking coward, he blocked me. And I'm just like, all right, I got to go feed the dog. I like that. D. Gulag says, Shuli's show mostly talks about Kevin Brennan or John. Well, see there, he's got an in to make himself some money. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, Shuli has Hanukkah gifts to buy. Hey, man, that's 8 nights. You got to make that shit stretch. Drunk on Cringe says, no, we are very nice and have nice conversations. Well, that's good. You said it was bad, though. I don't know. I can't keep up. Aaron Imhold says, April, if you want to come on down and bring me a Zima, I'll rub your feet while I finish the show. Hey, that guy doesn't have an L in his last name, that son of a bitch. It's pretty good, though. April, you don't tell them we have Zimas in here. Dave O'Flav says, the Onion's heart sucks and he crushes his wife during sex. I can't. If that guy has sex, they should cancel sex. Sex should be we should get cancel culture into sex if that guy's having it. You can't. We need to deplatform sex if that's the case. That should be illegal. Okie dokie, boys. Let's get you can tell I'm having too much fun. You can tell I'm having a good time with this. But it is, look, what is it? 40. We've been going for 40 minutes on this. It's time to move on. It bums me out, but it is time to move on because I know I have a lot of fans, a lot of listeners who think this shit is dumb. They think it's ridiculous and I shouldn't do it. So we're pushing 300 people. We'll get there. April says, dude, Fatty Onion can't find his dick and no one wants to help him find it either. Aaron wakes me up in the morning with a slap from his. I mean, it's more of a thud, but a slap will do. All right, boys and girls, let's go. The Aaron Imhote says the L is broken on my jitterbug. Sorry about that. Citizen M says we've been going for 40 glorious minutes. Why move to news stories when we can find anywhere online? Because I'm so funny talking about them. Citizen M says this was amazing. Look, man, I'm fucking good at it. Maybe I should be the referee or the GM or the Swami watching this shit from afar. I don't want to start watching this shit, though. It's so not my thing. I like ROTC. I like Gino's show. I like Anthony's show. I don't want to fucking watch this shit. The rants are fun, and I'm really good at it, but I'm really good at all the other stuff we do, too. I know, but Citizen M's a shit stirrer. He likes this kind of stuff. And look, man, these guys just wind up and they're like, I fucking hate steel toe, and it just kind of bounces off of us, doesn't get to us. And I can just dust off my arms and go, 43 minutes just ripping these people apart and shredding them. Yeah, I guess I can do that. And then off to doing what I always do. It tricks you, though. It tries to pull you in. Kip Smith says, nobody told me there was going to be boasting. I'm a boastful son of a bitch. Dude, we're bulletproof after that fucking anniversary show. I love that all of those people were like, I'm ready. I'm ready to rip it apart. And then they looked at the pictures and they went, fuck. All these people who have made it, because their stated goal was, we're going to destroy them. They're going to go away. And we show pictures, boom, stronger than ever. Better than any stream number, better than any view count. It is physical evidence. Boom. There's the community. And they go, fuck, I can't do that. And I can't even lie about that because there are so many. When you beat someone so thoroughly that even the fat-titted onion guy can't lie, when that guy, he's the biggest liar in this whole thing, and we beat him down so hard that he can't even lie about it. Fucking great. Lovely. See, Gregarious says the podcaster Stitch and Bitch bit is beneath this show. I know. I get it. Magnum, it's just, but you see, like Citizen M sitting there just rubbing his hands together and going, yeah, he's like the emperor right now. He's like, yes, let the hate flow through you. But I don't hate the people that most people hate. I don't hate any of them because I know what they are. I see through them. Like the fat-titted onion, I can't hate because in his soul, he's just an adorable, scared, bullied fat kid who's trying to put on an image on the internet of what he always wished he could be. I saw that in radio all the time. It was the guys, the ugly, gross, fat nerds like him who would get the big tough guy names. And you were like, oh, that's what you always wanted to be. So I know who he is, so I can put him in that category and I pat him on the head, and that's adorable. Chad, angry at the world. It didn't work out for him. He hasn't moved on to do anything else. And all the balls bounce the wrong way for him, and he's bitter and angry at the world. Cool. I get that guy. So it's nothing personal. I put him over here. I pat him on the head. Good to have you in my collection. Kevin Brennan, a guy who had a decent career, but could not stop counting other people's money. Could not stop watching. What do they have? Hey, Kevin, here's 2 bags of gold. Why does he have a bag of gold, though? He shouldn't have a bag of gold. Would you just be happy with what you have and keep working on that? No, I need to know why that guy has something. It's like, for a guy who bitches about Shuli being a Jew, boy, do you like to count shekels of other people. I bet you Kevin says this a lot. I wonder how much that cost. It just sounds like a statement he'd make. Again, the most well-adjusted one in that whole thing is Levy. And goddamn, the reason he finds himself in so much of these little spiffs and dramas and everything else is because he is normal and nobody around him is. I think Shuli's pretty normal too. Because what I like about Shuli is, again, I can look through Shuli, I can see what he is, and honestly, he's pretty much what you see is what you get. He likes to stir it up. He gets a kick out of it. I think he's a pretty authentic guy. I think the reason people hate him is because they think there's something nefarious or something, working behind the scenes. There really isn't. He's a troublemaking little shit stirrer, and he likes to get people going. He enjoys it. He gets off on it, and I understand. I like it too. Not as much as Citizen M does. Yeah, you can't take these people too seriously once you kind of figure out what they are. Then they just kind of become cute. Aaron's very fat face with $4.99 says, don't listen to me. This is war, and I want them to be liquidated like the Warsaw ghettos. May steel toe reign for 1,000 years. But that's what you have to understand. I'm going to reign for 1,000 years, whether these guys are around or not. We don't do the same thing. You just don't. Let's go into the chat here. I am so far behind. Nobody Likes Onion says, I wake up my wifey with our strap on. Take it easy. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I hope it's black for her sake. Triple N says, has anyone made an Aaron Emotep account with him in blackface? Seems like a decent bit. Maybe. Greg Arias says, had no idea who Chad was until that fateful day trolling him walking around the neighborhood. I like the radio aspect of this show. Thanks, buddy. Steel Toe Out of Context says Citizen M is happy because now he gets to pretend to be on everyone's side in chat talking shit about the other channels until he's there. See, that's why I don't get mad at Citizen M like you guys. Because I know what Citizen M is, and I can pick him up, I can put him on the shelf, and I can go, what a fucking cutie. April says Citizen M should be thankful for anything Daddy Imholt gives him because this topic is indeed beneath us. Just playing with my food. That's all. Johnny says, of course you see through them. They don't go out. They are translucent. Fair enough. Fair enough. April says KB's head is going to burst like a rotten tomato one day from being so angry. At least he'll die on the air. I would say he'd die doing what he loves, but I don't think he loves anything. Aaron's very fat face says, Spiffs, what do they work in a call center? Yeah, I fucked up. I was trying to think of another word and I bombed, right? Nobody Likes Onion says, I can have an AI voice of your child. Idea given to me by Citizen M, and he himself pays to have the AI voice of the kid. Oh, really? Oh, well then, if that's the case, then Citizen M really is a piece of shit. And he will have to go, but I don't think Citizen M would do that. Kip Smith says the most normal person in that universe is Cardiff, which is insane. I like Cardiff. Aaron's very fat face with $1.99 said, also, when I was 14, my favorite number was 88. Get it? See what he did there? All right, guys, 2:10 away from this is the last evening show of the week, and it's a solo show. 2:10 away from tonight's goal. There's the links in the chat. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, memberships. Grabbed a few new members tonight. I do appreciate that. Thank you, guys, very, very much. All right, let's get down to business, shall we? Let's get into a little news. April not being here is going to have a little bit of an impact. We're not over 300 people yet. Also, talking about this shit always drops the numbers too. So look, it was self-indulgent. You're right. Where are we at? 290? Yeah, so we're a little lower than usual because A, April's not here, and B, we talked about shit that bores people. I apologize for my self-indulgence. I broke a rule, and you know what? It should have a consequence. Let's get into some stories. Actually, a few listeners sent this to me. Oh, no, Mike Lindell. See, look, Mike was so fucking bored during that segment that he actually collapsed. He fell down. He's been going through a lot lately. A few listeners sent this story to me. It's something we've talked about before, where in schools and stuff, when I was a kid, they started using the resource officers because it used to be, imagine this, and some of you are old enough to remember, imagine a time when the cops were just never in schools. There were these things called principals. There were these things called teachers. And there were these things called guidance counselors and hall monitors. And what they would do is they would find kids misbehaving. They would send them to the office. The kids would get disciplined. And that would be the end of it. Now, I think it was after Columbine. I can remember, let's see, that was 1999, so I was 12, so what, 6th grade, 7th grade? After Columbine, they started putting police officers inside schools, like armed cops. And then those cops used to just be like glorified hall monitors, but then as time went on, kids were getting more violent because we had more irresponsible single moms who didn't fucking teach their boys discipline. And they would get angry and they would bully kids, and then there would be fights. And then they started passing all these rules in schools where the teachers can't put hands on the kids. The teachers can't be rough with the kids. So we got to let the resource officer do it. So the teachers would lose control of the classroom, but they would have to wait until a resource officer came down, Well, now we're having problems where these schools are out of control, and the state of Minnesota is doing this thing where now they don't even want the resource officers to put hands on the kids. And it's like it's like watching something drive in the complete opposite direction. It's like in Dumb and Dumber where they're going to Aspen and they fucking end up in the Midwest. They're like, oh, we got all these kids. There's more fights than ever. They're more violent. They're more brazen. They're more disrespectful to the authority figures. They beat each other up in school. What should we do about it? And they go, ooh, I have an idea. And they go, yes, the Democratic, legislator from Chisholm. Go ahead. Why don't we tell the police officers in the schools that they can't touch the kids? Yeah, but then they won't be afraid of the officer. Right, we don't want to spark fear of law enforcement because blah, 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 George Floyd. And they go, oh, George Floyd. Yeah, I remember George Floyd. Yeah, that was terrible. Oh, George Floyd was bad. Let's pass that law. Let's not discuss whether or not it makes any fucking sense. Let's not bring in the resource officers to see if it allows them to do their job any better. Let's just go ahead and pass it and see what happens. Well, it also sounds like they've done an absolute dog shit job of explaining this to these resource officers. Thus, we're about to start school here in Minnesota, and the officers that are in charge of discipline in these schools have no fucking idea what they're allowed to do. Check this shit out. And thank you to whoever sent me this story.
Law enforcement leaders are worried about a new law they fear will make it harder to keep schools safe.
Now, just weeks before kids return to class.
Hey, what the hell? Why'd you take it? Did they take this down? What the fuck?
Minnesota law enforcement leaders are worried about a new law they fear will make it harder to keep schools safe.
Now, just weeks before kids return to class, they're asking the governor's office to do something about it. Jay Coles explains the new restrictions placed on school resource officers. Jay.
Well, somebody has to, because apparently the governor's, hey, we're going to pass this law that tells you what you can and can't do in schools. Okay, cool. What is it? We'll tell you later. We got a couple weeks before school starts. You want to tell us? Oh, shit. Sorry. Totally forgot. Yeah, watch the news tonight.
Lindsay, the president of the Minnesota Chiefs Association, just sent this letter to Governor Walz.
I believe it's Guardians now. I don't think we're allowed to say Chiefs. Is it Guardians or is it Commanders? I can't remember what you're supposed to be called.
Expressing his concern over this new law. In the letter, he asks Governor Walz to use, quote, whatever powers you have to address this situation. There are school resource officers all across Minnesota, and the Chiefs Association says they help keep more than 900,000 students safe. But a change in state law in how those SROs intervene with unruly students has many chiefs concerned.
By how we're interpreting it, is it prevents techniques that we think actually make its situation safer.
I believe that the school resource officers, when it comes to two kids brawling, anything short of, shooting them execution style, I think would be all right. Hitting them with a baton, handcuffing them, all that shit. Like, let's keep order. Let's make fighting in schools something that's going to be painful to do. Yes, I'm sorry. There were a lot of things that the old school had wrong about bringing up kids. One thing they didn't have wrong is that, to an unruly child in a group, fear works very, very well. You have to install a little bit of fascism when it comes to watching over these kids. They're not old enough to have all their rights yet. They can't be trusted. There's a reason we don't let them drink or get tattoos or smoke, tobacco or, I guess in this case, weed now. It's because they're fucking stupid and they don't know how to behave. So you can't tell the police like, oh, we got to touch these kids less. That's a fucked up way to put it. Hey, you can't put your hands on these kids the way you used to. No, they need to be able to use more physical force against the children who clearly don't have any respect for the authority that's trying to teach them the shit they need to know so they don't get arrested when they walk out the front door. But now we're like, no, that's really mean. Yeah, no, it would be really mean if you hit a kid with a baton as they were just walking out of the lunchroom and dropped a tray. That would be horrible. Could you imagine that? Like tasing a 12-year-old just because he had an oopsie and dropped his lunch? That would be awful. But if you want to tase a kid who's yelling motherfucker everywhere and beating the shit out of people, fire it up. Absolutely. Let's come on. These guys are trained for situations. Let them use their discretion. Yeah, but Aaron, what about when they kill a kid? We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
This letter to Governor Tim Walz, the president of the Minnesota Chiefs Association, says the new law, quote, prohibits the use of prone restraint and prohibits the use of compressive restraint on the head, neck, and across most of the torso.
And you saw how effective a knee on the neck really is at stopping people from pulling bullshit. They just happened to do it to a junkie whose heart was racing on fentanyl and had heart issues. Boy, did you pick the wrong guy to lean on. 99 times out of 100, it works great. The guy stops resisting. He lays flat. He just puts his arms out. It's perfect. When you got an absolute dipshit who doesn't even know where he is going, oh, mama, oh, mama, oh, mama, oh, mama, oh, mama. People are like, oh, it was the Chauvin's knee on the neck that caused it. No, it wasn't. The guy was a fentanyl fucked up mess from Jump Street when they pulled him over. He was yelling, I can't breathe, when he was just lying by himself in the back of the car. He yelled himself into a heart attack and then fucking died. Sorry, that one still bugs me because our state is at the center of the meltdown of Western civilization, and it was all over a guy not fucking worth it. Not that Derek Chauvin was a good guy. He really did seem to be enjoying what he was doing. But that move that he pulled on George Floyd has been practiced across the country every single day. And guess what? It's effective and it works. What do you think killed him? A knee across his shoulders like this? Because it wasn't like right on his neck. But a knee across his shoulders like this? Or was it a guy who was geeked on fent going, hey, mama, hey, mama, oh, mama, oh, mama, oh, mama. Which one killed him? Let's forget all the propaganda, forget all that shit. Let's just use our heads here. Geeked on fentanyl, screaming at the top of your lungs at 350 pounds in a heart condition. Or a 180-pound cop with his knee across your shoulders. Which one kills you? Sorry, anyway, gone off on a... Boy, it's a ranty night, isn't it? Let's knock down that goal, boys and girls. It's almost the top of the hour. Streamlabs, PayPal, all that other happy horse shit. What are we at, 2:15 today? Light them up.
And goes on to say, quote, we implore you to use whatever powers you have to address this situation. Rosemont Police Chief Mike Dahlstrom says if students are fighting, for example, he's not sure how his school resource officers are expected to stop it.
Look at that. Do you know how you stop that? You beat the living shit out of the kid who does it first. Meaning, before it turns into that giant brawl, you tase the motherfuckers who threw the first punch. You don't sit there, because these cops are now, they're powerless. They can't do anything because A, the parents think, oh, my baby wouldn't do that. My baby didn't do anything wrong. But then when you see these giant brawls and the cops have to do something to stop them, and they do what's necessary to stop them, which is usually batons and tasers. The parents go, oh, why'd they do that to my baby? Why'd they do that to my baby? We need parents to be on the same side as the schools and the police. Like, when I was a kid, my friends knew and my parents knew who the pieces of shit were. And that you hung out with those pieces of shit. And if that piece of shit got in trouble, you were probably doing something wrong too. I mean, these people in these schools are busy. You think they're just pulling aside innocent kids and going, you're in trouble. Come over here. I want to do paperwork. No, your kid was being a little dickhead. And if you would watch him every once in a while, you'd know he's a little dickhead.
One of the first things an officer might do is restrain the individual across the torso to remove them from that situation. According to the current language, we would not be able to do that.
How about sleeper holds? Those work well. Rear naked chokes. Oh, no, then you're on the ground. That might be dangerous.
And if a student who doesn't belong in the school and refuses to leave, Chief Dahlstrom says, the new law restricts what the school resource officer can do.
But can they still take out that heavy mag light and fucking clock them and tell them to get the fuck out? Because I'd be okay with that too.
Can't go hands-on with that student. So if the student refuses to leave and continues to walk through the school, they're not allowed to put them in handcuffs because handcuffs is a use of force.
Eagan Police Chief Roger New says
we're trying to, I'm sorry, but I would feel more comfortable if this was an organized communist plot to kill this country. I would feel better. I would feel better if that was the case. And I do believe that is the case, by the way. I do believe it's a cultural attack by the left in this country to break us down so it can be rebuilt in their image. Usually if you just have a better idea for society, you can just pitch it and people will choose it. If you have to kill everything and make it shitty before your idea can be enacted, your idea sucks. Get a new one. But I would rather this be a concerted effort to just kill Western civilization than, hey, this is the best we can do.
New restrictions jeopardize safety for students and the SROs.
So do they now have to wait until bodily harm is going to occur? Or
bodily harm? Is that when somebody from Indonesia beats the shit out of someone? Is that what bodily harm is? Or do you hit them with a ball? I don't understand Bali. One more time, Bali harm?
Till bodily harm is going to occur or has occurred or death is imminent before they respond. And that's where there's just the language is not real clear.
And Chief New also says he's concerned school resource officers will be put in some situations where criminal charges come into play.
They're there simply trying to break up a fight, and now they violated the law because of this legislation that's gone into place.
A spokesperson for
Right, make an enemy of the cops, even though they're exactly what's needed in a lot of these schools because the schools are getting worse. And then the news story will be, are the cops too aggressive? And then they'll take away more things that they can do. This is a primrose path to destruction. That's all it is. And what's really frustrating, we've talked about this with New York and Seattle and these other places, is that we have the answers. We've seen it historically, the answers to these problems. And we don't use them. We never use them. And instead, we just go, hey, guess what? I've got some new ideas. I got some new ideas. Check this out. We're not going to let you even touch the kids. Like, we're not even going to let you restrain them or anything. It's like, what? No. That sounds like shit. Yeah, D-Rex says Kensington's doing really well. Yeah, I bet you the cops at Kensington schools can't touch anybody. Johnny K says, do you want Batman as a hall monitor? Because this is how you get it, right? And it's how you get more Ballyhar. You're going to get a lot more Ballyhar if you have these rules. I love that guy. Do we have to wait till there's Ballyhar? Well, I mean, that's why, in my opinion, you shouldn't even allow ballyhoo in the schools because it always starts with ballyhoo. You get a little bit of ballyhoo and then all of a sudden everyone's having a great time and then some Ballyhar happens and you go from ballyhoo to Ballyhar and now everybody's pissed. It's just, you can't win. All right, guys, 210 away from tonight's goal. If you want to chip in, thank you very much. I would love to see us knock out that goal on our last solo evening show of the week. Otherwise, I'm going to go till 9 tonight and then probably just have a nice long nose blow after that. So Streamlabs, PayPal, Rumble, etc. Thank you very much. Chevrolet JB over on Rumble says, I told my wife they need to give the teachers the rules back. Or the rulers back. Yeah, I don't know. Nowadays, I feel like you'd break them on some of these kids. I worry that it went too far in the other direction. And if you go too far in the other direction, can you really bring back the old, I guess. Isn't that kind of what I'm asking for? Bring back some of the old stuff. But I feel like you need to go harder first before you can reinstate that stuff, if that makes sense. Buddy Travis says, because in my opinion, if most of these kids got their ass beat when they were younger, things would be different. Well, I feel like a lot of these kids did get hit, and that's part of the problem. The problem is you should only be using physical force on kids when it's the only way to restrain them from hurting people. If a kid doesn't clean his room and you start smacking him around, you're just turning that kid into a little shit. Like, that kid's going to be a nightmare in the future, especially if it's a woman doing the hitting. Because women aren't intimidating. They're just going to resent you, hate you, and want to kick the shit out of you when they're older. Same thing for dads, too. But, dads, they can buy themselves a little time just because of their natural size. But, you don't... It takes... Put it this way. It takes a lot of wrong turns to end up where we're at now. Put it that way. All right, boys and girls, 210 away from tonight's goal, so we did not get under 200 by the end of the hour here. I will cover whatever we're short tonight. I was going to do that for the morning show, but you guys ended up knocking it out. Patrick Michael with 199 says, your thoughts on Kumia's new house having issues. Yeah, what did Anthony say? Like, his roof, the guy who did the roof on his new house put on a shitty, awful roof and was like a fly-by-night roof guy and left the state. You got to sue his ass, right? That's all you can do. If he's not going to come back and fix the roof, you got to sue his ass. In the meantime, if you can afford it, and People are going to be like, oh, it's Anthony. I say if you can afford it to everyone, because I'm not going to sit here and count people's money. If you can afford it, have someone else obviously redo the roof in the meantime, save the receipts, make it part of the civil case, I assume. P.A. Cheddar says, keep your kids off the internet and don't give them a smartphone. Yeah, but how reasonable a request is that going to be? Like how long? That just seems to me like you're pushing off the problem, but not getting rid of it. I don't know. Hobo Chili Recipe says, welcome to the Carolinas. Some of the biggest shysters I've ever met come from that state. Well, that would be in keeping with tradition then. Paul R. Nelson says, Gino recommended the roofer because he moves in his free ride is over. What free ride? Oh, you mean the show he does on Compound? I'll tell you what. I think Gino and Keanu said this on her podcast tonight. Keanu Cast on Keanu Thompson's YouTube. Go subscribe to Kiki there. But, I think when Kiki and Gino came to Minnesota, I think they kind of fell in love with the state. And Kiki was saying on her show tonight, she said, I guess I can do the stuff I do from anywhere. First of all, they're going to get a lot more higher paying gigs here doing comedy than they will in New York, because in New York, comics are a dime a dozen. And I can't imagine you make too much on a headlining gig. But here in the Midwest, you can just call a bar, ask for a door deal. They'll give you the room for free if you tell them, yeah, we'll put, let's say you're not this show. You're like, hey, I can put 60, 70 people in that room at $15 a piece. And they'll go, shit, you're going to put 60 or 70 people in our bar on a Saturday night? Sounds good to me. We'll take 60 or 70 extra customers. And they'll just let you keep the door money. And I'm not a mathematician, so this is going to take me a minute. 1,500. What is that, like $1,200 if you sell 70 tickets? What do you get for a headlining gig in New York City? $50, $100, $200, maybe? It's but anyway, I think when they came here, they absolutely loved it. And Gino's got a studio here that he could do In Hot Water from. Absolutely. We get him a green screen. He could have all his shit. And he could do the show there from here, from in the studio. We could, Keanu could do her shit from in the studio. And I think it would all work out perfectly. So if the Compound Studios ever shut down, I think there's plenty of options here. CJ with $5 says, in 90 seconds or less, explain why Minnesota votes for Democrats from top to bottom. Is it the cities dominating the rural voters? Make it make sense. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth, and Rochester, as Brad A. says. Yeah, that's who calls the shot in this state. If you look at the geographical map of how people vote in Minnesota, it's a shitload of red with a dot of blue in the center, or the bottom right corner, and then a dot of blue somewhere near the top, and then the rest is all red. It's just that's where the universities and the big stacked on top of people population centers are. So that's how it works out here. Hobo Chili Recipe says, do you want a better paying job? Come to Minnesota. We have Cup Foods in the American Mogadishu Mile. All right, there is that. Taste Fairy says, also the Minnesota GOP trots out the worst candidates. Bingo. Yes, we pick retards. Not we. I'd just rather see them win than the Democrats. But yes, they absolutely pick dipshits in that Republican Party. All right, let's continue on tonight. Where did that put us? 205 away from knocking it out this evening. Show a little love for doing a solo show, the last evening show of the night. I'll cover whatever we come up short. But it would be, you guys were so kind this morning on that solo show that I get it. When we don't have a co-host, it's not as good of a show. I 100% agree with you. But I was going to cover this morning, and then you guys knocked that out. That was really, really cool of you. If you want to do that again tonight, hey, I ain't complaining. I'll even do the overtime. Taco, I thought this was just a cute little story. This, not everything has to mean something. You know how Taco John's has been having Taco Tuesday for, I think it's like, this article says 34 years. Taco John's has had Taco Tuesday where it's like 30-cent tacos. I know it's not that, but it's some kind of weird taco deal that they have on Taco Tuesday. Well, Taco Bell decided, like, just to be cunts. They just decided to be assholes. And Taco Bell wanted to use the phrase, especially as the phrase has become so popular. Lego Movie's villain had a dubious plot called Taco Tuesday. So Taco Bell went, we're going to call our shit Taco Tuesday. Taco John says, fuck you. We're Taco Tuesday. And we're going to defend our turf here. Well, Taco John's is selling 2 tacos for $2 on Taco Tuesday. Taco Bell is giving away 1 Doritos taco for free, no purchase necessary, every Tuesday for 1 month. So that, I guess, made Taco John's sue Taco Bell for doing the Taco Tuesday thing. Surprisingly, Taco John's lost their lawsuit. And now Taco Bell can use Taco Tuesday. Everybody can use, so now everybody can use, McDonald's can use Taco Tuesday if they want to. Like I said, the story didn't have to mean anything. I just thought it was a real petty dickhead move by Taco Bell. I mean, it is kind of like one of those gentlemen's agreements. You know, like, look, asshole, we've been doing Taco Tuesday for 34 years. You don't just come in and swipe it. But if you're Taco Bell, there's probably part of you that thinks, God damn, why didn't we do this 30 years ago and steal the Taco Tuesday thing? It's like a mutually assured destruction type of thing. Oh, yeah, Dead Jester says now the Bunny Ranch can use Taco Tuesdays as well. Perfect. Oh, Magic 8 Ball says, what about Otaku Tuesdays? See, now, you could Otaku Tuesdays at the Bunny Ranch, that might cause some of the girls to call in sick, though. And you really don't want to do that. Kavan Kaiser says, does McDonald's still have fajitas? Did they try that at some point? Ugh. McDonald's had a lot of misses over the years. I mean, obviously their success speaks for themselves. But boy, have they had a shitload of misses. They tried to do McPizza at one point. They tried to do pizzas at McDonald's. Ugh. What was the one that came in the styrofoam container? Oh, God. There was a McBLT, I think, at one point. Was there a McSloppy Joe? I don't recall, but there's like they've got whole videos. Oh, the McDLT. That was it. Ugh. They've tried a lot of different stuff. And no. For every hit they've had 3 fuck-ups. But in fairness to them, they scrap them right away. I'm going to tell you one of those failures that I was actually a fan of. The Arch Deluxe. I'd take it back. But who am I? One man. That's it. Good news if you're happy about, the Bud Light shit and all of that stuff. Target sales fell for the first time in 6 years following the Pride Month boycott. Now, this isn't one of those things where you can go, oh, I'm just going to say it's get woke, go broke. I have no evidence of it, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to say it, because my political side needs the win. Target themselves said, yeah, all that noise about Pride Month and all that shit, it cost us some money. For the first time in 6 years, we sold less than we did the quarter before, or the year before that quarter. I mean, that's pretty big. Because Target was always one of those stores where people were like, yeah, it's just fucking Target. We're going to go in, grab our shit, and get out. And as long as Target just kind of kept it on that path, they were home free. It was a license to print money. But then they decided to go, hey, you know who we should cater to? The LGBTQ plus community. Because, they're always satisfied once you throw them a bone. It's not like they're going to ask for 18,000 more things. Or if you ease off the gay gas pedal, they're going to complain and call you a bigot. No, we'll just appeal to them and they'll love us forever. Well, they started putting out gay kids' clothes. And parents started going, get the fuck out of here. No goddamn way. Get it out. And they were like, well, we can't. We don't want to offend our LGBTQIA plus friends. And so parents went, all right, well, fuck you. I'm going to Walmart and buying clothes or Goodwill or somewhere else. And then Target's like, shit, we're losing business. What are we going to do? So they went, all right, we'll move the display to the back of the store. They moved the displays so it's not featured prominently, and all the gay people start bitching. I thought you were an ally. I thought you were here to embrace us and help us. Now you're not putting us right up front and center. We hate you. Boo. Getting too good at that voice, by the way. So Target ran one of those wonderful corporate decision plays where you piss off someone initially, you try to fix it, the group you pissed off initially isn't satisfied, but now you've pissed off the group that you were trying to grab. It worked perfect. Target's foot traffic dropped 4.8% last quarter and also 10.5% online. Sales at stores open for at least 1 year dropped 5.4% last quarter. I mean, it's, the bitch of it is, it's an easy fix. Like, it's really a simple fix. Cut the shit. Just do the stuff you've always been doing. People were not upset with Target. They weren't mad about, the way they were doing business. All they wanted to do was, they wanted to cater to their new LGBTQ friends, and it bit them right in the ass. Why? What's the fucking point? Just sell your shit. This is a small group of people you're appealing to anyway. They're not going to boost your sales. And the risk reward is this. If you appeal to them, they're not going to boost your sales that much. If you piss them off at any time now, they're going to fucking crucify you endlessly, and they won't shut up about it. So, Red Fox Mad says at least Target's ESG score is good. They pleased the 1% elites. Fat lot of good that does when the stock price starts dropping, right? God, I wonder, most businesses get it and they don't pull this shit, but God, the ones that do are so big and successful. You're like, did you fuck it up on purpose for some reason? God damn. $205 away from this evening's goal. If you'd like to contribute, Streamlabs, PayPal, and Venmo. I hope you're enjoying tonight's show. If you feel like throwing in, it would be great. 205 away from tonight's goal. If we knock it out in the next 35 minutes, we're going to do lots of overtime. We're going to do 30 minutes of overtime. We are going to rattle the offering plate in about, like I said, 35 minutes, try to make up whatever's left over. But right now, 205 away. If you feel like chipping in, memberships are very cool. Love memberships. Love subscribers over on Rumble. And what else do we love? Oh, yeah, PayPal, Streamlabs, and Venmo. Thank you, everybody. Union Jack says, so do you want the goal tonight or no? Look, man, I've done 2 solo shows. I know it's not what the customers demand. They want the 2 people every show. I get that. I'm making the best of it. And that's why I said, whatever you guys come up short tonight, I'll cover. I get this is an extenuating circumstance. April texted me. She said, you do a good show. Thank you. Hit like, by the way. Hit like, hit subscribe. My temp is back over 100 and my body is so much worse. I'm going to lie down. We need water after. I'm so sorry. Love you. Yeah, we've been sick. We drank all our fucking water. Like, I think every month we get like 7 of those Culligan bottles. 7 of them. And we burned through them. Oh, you know what? We had Gino and Keanu here last weekend, and we were all drinking a bunch. So there's water there. Then you got 2 sick people after. There's some water there. I get it. All right, so I'll have to grab her some water, go out and grab some water after the show here. I'll probably just stay up late. I don't know. I hate having to go out and do shit after the show and then like, oh, I got to power down and go to bed. I'll probably take a shower, watch a shitload of SVU, and stay up for a while. More than likely. Thursdays and Fridays, man, after you do 2 shows a day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday and Fridays both feel like I feel like we have 2 Fridays every week. Like Thursday and Friday are both, they have a Friday feel to them. Sometimes I'll stay up a little later on Wednesday anyway. Atomic Ray says, when is the viewing of April's body? Yeah, I mean, for me, it's every day. But for you guys, I mean, we'll probably have it in a church somewhere. It'll be a really nice ceremony, I'm sure. And we'll remember her as she was. How's that? We'll remember her as she was. Korikio Shinguji says, get Gatorade or Sprite, good for the sick. Well, she has Sprite. She could do the Sprite. Jared says, Culligan water, why not just get the reverse osmosis installed? So much cheaper. Is it? You got to know something about me. I don't know shit about reverse osmosis. Me and reverse osmosis never met. Never met the guy. Points for actually using osmosis correctly. Usually people say osmosis when they actually mean diffusion. Oh, so now we're all going to be cunty like we know everything. I see. April says, well, now I feel like extra shit. I'll go get the water. Oh, stop it. I'm going out to get the water. Jesus. God forbid. I'd like some help and attention after. I don't need you up all hours of the night like me. Stop it. I'm going to get you the water. Jesus. I got to learn to just not say shit. I mean, Jesus. Oh, I'll go get the water. It's fine. I'm going to get the fucking water. Jesus. Gino Bisconti's airborne herpes bump says 10 hits of meth and y'all be rubbing each other raw within the hour. Oh, is that what I need? I need meth. All right. I always forget that ingredient. 2:05 away from today's goal. Please go ahead and chip in. April, stop it. Stop it. You're going to drive me nuts. Stop it. I'm going to get the water. I'm fucking just talking. Oh, boy. It's just sometimes you got to learn just not to say anything because you don't mean anything by it regardless. And then sometimes people go, well, now I feel bad. I don't need you to feel bad. I'm saying it's a Wednesday night. I got a show in the morning. I've been doing a lot of shit. Not a lot of time to really chill out. So I'm probably going to chill out tonight. I'm going to go get the water right away. And then I'm going to chill the fuck out. The water's like 5 minutes away. It's not the hardest thing in the world. For God's sake. All right, guys, let's knock out that 2:05. Let's hammer it out tonight. We got about 30 minutes, little less than 30 minutes before I rattle those cans. And we are, quite frankly, a long ways away this evening. So there you are. Chicago, I love this one. There's no way this actually happened. That this is what they're actually trying. Chicago is so fucked up that they're done trying to like stop crime from happening. They're done like putting more cops on the street. They're done, uncuffing the cops and letting them go to work and actually, do police work and stop bad guys. They're going to try a new thing in Chicago. And I guess you would call it asking really nicely to keep the crime down to shoe level. A Chicago group wants gangbangers to refrain from firing guns between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Hey, guys, listen. I know that you guys are used to running around like it's the Wild West and just capping people willy-nilly 24 hours a day. But could you do us a favor and only fire obnoxiously loud firearms only in the hours where most people are sleeping? That would be great. And by the way, you know why they're picking those times. Because kids are most likely to be out in those times. So St. Cloud, Freudian slip. Chicago is such a pile of shit that they have to choose between, all right, do we want them to stop shooting guns while the kids are out, or do we want them to stop shooting guns while people are sleeping? They can't pick both because that would mean nobody gets to shoot anybody in Chicago, and we can't just do that. That would be insane. So now they're saying, hey, between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., do you guys think you could just not shoot each other? That would be all right. Red Fox Mad with $9.99. Thank you very much, buddy. That's going to put us at an even 200 for tonight. Appreciate that. Let's make that start a rally. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo. So a community group from the north side of Chicago is asking members not to fire guns, or asking gang members not to fire guns or commit any shootings during the daytime. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it during the daytime anyway. You should be going into CVS's and robbing them. The proposal came from a community group called the Native Sons, who recently emailed out a newsletter featuring an image they dubbed the People's Ordinance. That doesn't sound commie at all. The group is from an area called Rogers Park, where a gang war between the Gangster Disciples and Black Pea Stones in Uptown. I believe I just passed a Black Pea Stone not too long ago. Hurt like a bitch. Is believed to have been reignited. Police recently, and these gangsters can't shoot worth shit, so they're always capping kids and stuff. And I guess they're trying to keep children safe, but aren't a lot of young teenagers already in these gangs, and they're not exactly sticking to curfew. Boy, the things you could have done if maybe you just would have had a police force that was allowed to do their jobs and had bigger numbers and boots on the ground, just, cracking skulls, kicking ass and taking names. But, I guess this is a novel approach. Ask the gangbangers nicely to please stop being violent when the sun is up. Because when the sun goes down, we'll be shooting when the sun goes down. You won't see any whites Sorry. Police recently warned of a strong possibility of retaliatory shootings after 3 men were shot in the Uptown area in late July. The semi-peaceful proposal, I love semi-peaceful. Literally, you're going to have the same amount of shootings. They're just going to be condensed to nighttime, when nobody can be an eyewitness. Not that people in those neighborhoods tend to see a lot of things anyway when the cops come asking. The semi-peaceful proposal also had captions such as "no sliding while the sun is out" and "safe summer initiative." You know what could fix it? Maybe white boy summer. I don't know. "We have to start somewhere," said Tatiana Atkins. That sounds like someone who's got their head jammed completely up their asshole and has no actual ideas on how to fix this shit. "Well, we have to start somewhere. Pretty please, could you not shoot our children in the daytime? Our goal is to approach our city's gun violence problem strategically and not all at once. Things didn't become this way overnight, and things won't happen overnight." No. Things won't happen until you start voting for new people. If you keep voting for the same types of people, you're going to continue to get fucked up results. This isn't difficult. But hey, maybe the gangbangers will listen. When people ask really nicely, I hear they're very amenable. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., only shoot people's kids when they're sleeping. Cool. Under this ordinance, we ask that people stop associating with and glorifying shooters, stop glorifying switches, and stop wearing those ski masks everywhere. Did you hear that, ski mask? You better take that shit off, which perpetuates you as some op, Atkins told the local outlet. Switches refers to aftermarket devices that turn semi-automatic handguns into automatic weapons that can fire rapidly with just one pull of the trigger. Hey, but I bet you those are super illegal for people to have. I bet you that people in Chicago aren't supposed to own those things because gun control laws probably made them illegal. Are you telling me that bad guys who want to get guns are still able to get them regardless of whether or not they're legally allowed to obtain them? The shit you say. Thank you very much to Pizza Roll for renewing his membership for a 14th month. Appreciate that. I cannot wait to hear the Chicago gangbangers' response to this. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. I was like, oh, yeah, no, Ma, this sounds reasonable. We can do that. Yeah, shit. And then all of a sudden you just see guys lining up like a continental battle during the Revolution. A5958, A5959. 9 o'clock, make ready, fire. Like, it's going to look like the Patriot. Only they're all going to be Occam. Atkins also explained that the group will not wait for actual legislation to be drafted to enforce their recommendations, but rather that a social movement needs to take over. Oh, yeah? How are you going to enforce that? Someone shoots someone at, 8:35, you're going to go, hey, come on, you know the rules. That's a timeout for you, mister. This is so... Can you just go ahead and say it's over for your city? Why? I need to ask Chicago this. Why are you struggling so much? Like Hannibal Lecter told Will Graham, be ever so still, ever so gentle, like slipping into a warm bath. Just, you guys have the slow descent into hell coming. Just lean in. The local leader even admitted that she doesn't believe people are going to stop shooting each other altogether. Great place you got there. Not everyone is willing to drop their beef. You know how expensive it is nowadays? If you aren't mentally and emotionally equipped to solve disputes in a healthy manner, if you can't help but harm each other, do so in a capacity in which children, elderly, and those not involved in high-risk activities are less likely to be affected. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you're holding a gun like this, awfully hard to be accurate. The group hoped that at the very least, limiting gang activity to the prescribed hours would prevent collateral damage and innocent children from being shot. Isn't that a beautiful place to live? Look, we can't stop people from getting capped, but maybe what we can do is stop the tiniest people or the wrinkliest people from getting capped, right? What do you think? Watch it work. Just watch them actually hold on. Like, hey, here in Chicago, we've dropped our murder rate in the daytime hours 39%. In related news, our 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. killings are up 425,000%. We're gonna be fine. All right, kids, I'm here by myself. I'm 195 away from tonight's goal. It's a long ways away. We've got about 20 minutes until we rattle the offering plate here and see if we can knock it out. You guys have been very cool and very patient with us while we've been suffering from illness here in the home. Greasy N-word with $5 says, get well soon to the only reason to watch the show, April. Thank you, buddy. Hey, guys, there's the Streamlabs, PayPal, and Venmo links. They're also pinned to the top of the chats as well. If you feel like throwing in a few bucks or gifting some memberships or throwing in a super chat, sure would appreciate it. It's been a really charmed week as far as knocking this stuff out. And I think tomorrow we're going to return to full strength. So let's make sure we don't miss this week. I've been really excited about the response to these solo shows, which I know aren't doing well statistically, and they shouldn't. There's value in having two people. But continuing to knock out that goal would be fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie to you. And we're 195 away from doing it. On from the Chicago story. Oh, the Canadians. So the Canadians are finding out kind of what American large cities are finding out, and that is that shit sucks where they live. The problem is they're having a hard time connecting the dots from it being shitty to why it's shitty. You know, you see this a lot in California or Chicago or other cities where they're like, hey, things really suck. Oh, would you like to replace your leadership? Oh, boy, would we ever. I can't wait to change our leadership. We're getting rid of Lori Lightfoot. Hey, cool. Would you like to vote for someone who believes in something completely different than her? No. We were thinking we'd have someone who believes mostly the same shit as her, but this one will have a dick. Cool. So you want a guy instead of a girl. Hey, don't assume their gender. All right, you people are hopeless. Well, Canada's now doing the same thing with their systems. They're falling apart. It's not going well, but they don't quite realize who's to blame yet. First, Curly Adam, thank you very much. 190 away from hitting this thing. Let's go ahead and do it, guys. Let's start that rally. My sick brain is very excited to continue knocking that out. All right. Let's watch this woman. I think she's a woman. You never know nowadays. That's why we don't assume. Let's watch her go off about the Canadian system.
I live in Ontario, and I need someone to tell me the pros and cons of living in America, because at this point...
No, we were thinking of sending the people here that vote like you guys up to where you live because we thought they should live there. We don't want to import more. No, we can't deal with the consequences of the ones we've got going to the polls. And then let's not forget about the dead ones that keep voting every year. So no, I can't take on more people who are like, you know what I think is great? The government running healthcare.
Canada just ain't it. It's just like not it anymore. Like the cost of living, it's too much.
You're going to hate us. You know, the Chinese government is buying up all of our houses at inflated prices and then renting them out to us with no ownership at ridiculously high rent prices, right? Yeah. It kind of sucks a fat dick.
The wages are staying the same. I can't afford to move out. I'm 24. And I'm embarrassed that I can't move out. I can't leave my toxic household. So one of my...
Of course. Can you believe that this person lives in a toxic household? I bet you nothing's ever her fault either. I bet you it's always that damn toxicity. Why is it that crazy people who can't hold down a job or a significant other always seem to have so much toxicity around them? And they never consider the fact that perhaps they're the toxic one? Never. You would think at some point, you'd find some happiness. Like I found happiness in my home. I have happiness in my asshole. And it's wonderful. It's great. You have peace in your home. That's all I ever want. That's what most guys want. Peace in the home. When a guy's home is not peaceful, they're stressed out and they're angry. So no matter what you do, make sure the house is a peaceful place. But I do notice that people who can't be happy, or that people who have a lot of exes or not many friends, they seem to be, a lot of people around them seem to, according to them, be very toxic. Never them, though. Never them.
What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? What are the pros and cons of living in America? And everyone's like, oh, Canada's so great, this and that. It's not anymore. Free healthcare. You know how long it takes to see a mental health professional in Canada?
Fuck you. My whole life, Canadians just cocking off, free healthcare. You guys have to pay for your healthcare. Yeah, if I have a problem, when I see a doctor, usually within 48 hours. Oh, by the way, if you want to see a therapist in America, yeah, you got to pay out of pocket. But guess what? You could see one tomorrow if you wanted to. You know how long it takes to see a mental health professional? Probably a lot longer than you need. Look, I'm not going to deny that there's maybe a little... people like this, they always complain about how toxic and awful and mental health straining the country they live in is, and never stop for a second to consider if they're the ones who have helped make it that way. If you're someone who believes that the government should supersede on pretty much any A and B conversation, you're part of the reason why Canada sucks so much shit right now. Do you know how long it takes for me to get the mental health professional? That's the problem with people like this. Their country doesn't suck until it becomes a personal inconvenience to them. Meanwhile, us here in America have been looking at your guys' waits to see an oncologist, the waits to get an MRI or anything like that. It's fucking forever. It takes a long time. But it doesn't affect a woman like this because she's a complete narcissist. It doesn't affect her until, I can't see my mental health professional. Here, I'll be your mental health professional. Right, your dad's toxic and your mom doesn't listen to you. Yeah, got it. Yeah, no, it's all their fault and you're going to be fine. Go say 4 Hail Marys and 3 Glory Bees. She'll be like, what? I'll be like, yeah, sorry, that last one was a force of habit.
A year. Dermatologist, a year. I might as well pay for private health care.
Oh, Canada, you all can suck my dick. I might as well pay for private health care. The stuff the States has. And look, you're not going to get me to talk about how star-spangled awesome our healthcare system is. They need to drop all these fucking regulations. They need to let people have a la carte insurance coverage that they can, build themselves and then, have a premium set for them so people can pay for what they're going to use. We got to stop with this big fucking the giveaways we give to the insurance companies and truly let it be a free market system. But I certainly don't want Canada's single payer horse shit where the government picks up all the bills, because that's when you get the MAID program. And the MAID program goes from terminal illness to just, I feel a little wonky today. And they don't feel like paying to save you. If you put the money in the government's hands to pay for healthcare, they get to tell you what healthcare you're getting. No, thank you.
The wait list is so long. Like, you don't even get the adequate help that you need. So where...
In fairness, ma'am, you seem like you need a lot of help. It's just me weighing in. Continue.
Get the adequate help that you need. So where do we go at this point? Where are we supposed to live?
Straight to hell, my friend. Straight to hell. That's where we're going. I love the idea. Oh, I'm going to go to the States. It'll be so much better. That's like back in The Walking Dead when they would be like, oh, I heard it's really great here. Let's go there. And they'd find it and it will be burned out and occupied by zombies. That's Canadians thinking America rules. It's like, no, we had too much of your influence over the border. We guilt-fucked ourselves into being second place.
Where can I live in a place where I'm able to enjoy my life as well? because I'm not enjoying it here.
Right.
I feel so utterly stuck. I don't know what to do anymore. You go to school, you get a degree, and you're still not guaranteed a job.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That degree you got in advanced men are cunts and I'm 7 different gender studies. That's terrible. I think what this woman's trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, she's saying she doesn't like this place anymore. It's bad. She wants to find a better place. I think what they're trying to say is,
you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Sorry,
And they're always glad you came.
That's the vibe I was getting from that speech. I don't know what you took from it, and that's why I go to the chat from time to time. But that's what I took from what that woman was trying to say. Bo Archer with 99 cents. Thank you very much, buddy. Very kind of you. What are we at? 190. We're a long ways away from tonight. I have made dick tonight because it's been a solo show where I started off talking about podcasts my audience doesn't give a fuck about. And I have no April. $2 from Hobo Chili Recipe over on Rumble. Says, Canada, go fuck yourself, you snow Mexicans. Just keep being America's dandruff. He says, also, Tim Hortons sucks. Well, I mean, there's that too. Everybody hit like, everybody hit subscribe. We've got about 10 minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and rattle this offering plate and see if we can get close to tonight's goal. That would be that's where I'm at. I did 2 shows solo, sick as a dog today. And we knocked out the goal on one of them, which I'll be honest, I did not think was going to happen. So thank you very much for that. If we get this one knocked out, that'll be great. However, I think we're going to miss tonight. And thankfully, I will cover the rest. I thought I was going to have a lot more to cover goal-wise, but you guys have been extremely generous today. Greasy N-word with $5 says, my God, Aaron, cheers? Really? Yeah. Cheers. Don't fucking cheers shame me. You think you're going to back me off that one? You have any idea? I'm like Michael Rooker in Mallrats. Well, I'm as proud of that song as I am this little show here. Thank you very much. Spuds Buckley is God says, it's a great show tonight, just being a broke freeloader here. Wow, thank you for your honesty. And also, thank you for being a fan. Appreciate it. Herman the Great says, is it e-beggar time? Nope. E-beggar time is about 7-8 minutes away. Don't worry. E-beggar time is a ways away. Matt told me to put my keys in tonight so it would have more noise to it. So we're going to go with, we're going to have the keys in there and have a noisier e-beggar time. But 185 away, Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, memberships, gifted memberships. All of it helps. All of it is welcome. And we do appreciate it. Okay, well, that lady's hilarious. She doesn't know why, but I think she's wonderful. We got tomorrow on the show. We got to talk about Apple Podcasts deplatforming Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck can't put his podcasts on Apple anymore. And that coincides with also a story that we'll get to tomorrow. YouTube is apparently saying that they're going to be cracking down again on medical misinformation. I believe they're going to start just banning the words myocarditis. I don't know how much they can they're like, we're going to crack down harder on medical misinformation because you know what people on YouTube, especially who tend to lean a little right, you know what they've happened to really notice about YouTube? You know, I myself, as a guy with a medical misinformation strike under my belt, I have to tell you, YouTube's been really lackadaisical. They've been really loosey-goosey with that medical misinformation stuff. It's really time to cinch it in. Fuck. Read the room, guys. Of all the complaints people have about YouTube, I don't think any of the complaints have been, you know, you guys just let them get away with too much shit on COVID. Chevy JB over on Rumble says, clearly pay to play over here. Don't get enough service to get my browser or YouTube to open. Well, no, it's just the Rumble chat isn't very busy. If it's not very busy, it's nothing to read. You know, I read when I can. I love the Rumble chat. They're like, why don't you come to us? I'm like, the YouTube chat is fucking cruising by. It's actually slower tonight because, I mean, would you want to look at this for 2 hours? But, like, I mean, the YouTube one moves typically, and the Rumble one doesn't move as much. You can't be mad at me for looking at them when I have, like, a minute and a half, 2 minutes to look at the chat before we go to the next topic, because it is an entertainment show. You can't blame me for taking, a minute and a half of my 2 minutes and spending it on the one that has most of the comments in it. Halada for China says, you don't read my shit, I don't care. Well, you better care because I just read it. Thank you very much. All right, boys and girls. What are we, 185 away. Thank you very much for your generosity. Oh, we haven't watched this yet. The Long Island police using that SUV to neutralize that gun-toting woman. Apparently, this is controversial. Excuse me for a moment. I had to sneeze. Oh, it's time for bed. So there's this woman who was out in the street. I think it was a woman. But she's out in the street. She's waving a pistol around or something, saying she's going to kill a bunch of people and then kill herself. And the police actually disarmed her in a remarkably clever way, because it's getting to the point now for cops where if you put your hands on someone, no matter how dangerous they are, you're like, oh my God, am I going to get charged with something? Is this person going to like magically drop dead and I'm going to be called a racist? Like, it's very stressful. But now this move is being criticized. But in my opinion, it was just quick thinking and really, really sharp and a hell of a move.
Gun, yo.
So this woman is just
chill, son.
Pointing a gun at everyone. Not the worst looking chick in the world. Now she's got the gun to her head. See, now, like, to me, in these situations, I know as a cop you don't want that to happen. Like, you'd like to take them into custody so nobody gets traumatized, but like, best case scenario is like she just goes ahead right there and, calls it a day. Oh! Holy shit, that was a good one. And they got the gun. And now she's just like, what the fuck? Just jacked her with the car. I mean, because if you send a cop over there and he walks up, she can see him coming from a mile away, and she could shoot at him, so you're putting the officer at risk. And then if the cop sneaks up behind her, she gets startled, she ends up shooting him anyway. But that cop car comes flying in there. Ain't much reaction time you got on that. I like the move. I think it's great. I guess a lot of people on Long Island are bitching. It was too dangerous, this and that. I thought it was creative. I thought it was effective. At the end of the day, nobody got hurt. Well, I mean, except the person who had to take this shot standing. She gets up pretty quick, too. Look at that. Boom! And the gun went flying out of her hand, as it does when you get hit by a car.
Yo, that's crazy.
And then down she goes.
That's crazy.
She, look, I guess you got a lot of adrenaline when you get hit by a car like that, but for her to pop up and be moving around the way she did, it's pretty impressive. And now there they go. They got her on the ground. We're going to arrest her. And the ambulance comes in. And then that looks like, that's
right over there.
The rest of it is just her being arrested. Well, good. I don't really see how that's controversial. What are they saying? What's the complaint? Former NYPD detectives, blah, 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 blah. Deadly force spurs deadly physical force. That's the law, said the commissioner. Oh, yeah. And the commissioner totally has the officers' backs on this. The police commissioner totally defended the officers using the SUV to neutralize that lady. And why shouldn't they? I mean, she's threatening to shoot herself and shoot a bunch of other people. Your options are kind of limited. They had a car. She was on foot. Drop her before she has time to think about it. Because, again, you see a cop coming from a long way off, or he can startle you and sneak up behind you. And, but if you if you give him a speeding object, your first reaction when you see that is you go, they're not really going to hit me. Are they? Fuck. And before you know what hits you, you're on the ground and the gun's, careening down the street. Mission accomplished. It was effective. No problem with it. All right, guys, we don't have enough time to start a new one. So we're going to gear up and see if we can knock out tonight's goal of 185. We got about, what did we start at, 230? You guys were very generous this morning. Thank you very much for a lackluster solo show. I do appreciate that. So we are about $45 into tonight's goal. I'm going to wrap things up in a few minutes here if we come up short, and then I will. I didn't have to end up, covering today's goal. I offered to cover this morning's goal, but you guys knocked it out. If we don't knock out tonight's, I guess it's on me. Things are going pretty nice for Steel Toe, so being sick. Could have taken the show off tonight, but you guys were so fucking generous this morning that I felt like, you know what? I can do a solo show for a couple of hours. So let's go ahead and let's fire up the music. Let's rattle the offering plate. Let's have some fun. Let's see if we can do it. Hold on. Go back. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Come on, where's the words?
So many times.
There we go. All right, guys. Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, memberships. There's the offering plate. Put your hands to the sky. I'm not robbing you. This isn't Chicago. Put your hands to the sky. Praise Steel Toe. And let's hit this now $180 goal to do some overtime tonight. Thank you to Rupert for starting us off. Rupert with $9.99 says, Experience Regina. I can't get that song out of my head. I feel like I need to put something here. Well, thank you, I suppose. 180 away from knocking it out. There's all the links in the chat. Take a minute to go ahead and pick your favorite one and drop a couple of bucks in. The link is on YouTube and Rumble. And we're 180 away. I get it. Solo show, no April. Why should we give this stupid fuck any money? Oh, we're barely over 200 right now. Yeah, they don't. The audience has spoken. They don't want solo shows. So the message the audience is sending us is very clear. Aaron, you're sick. You've done 2 solo shows today. Go to bed. Well, we'll hang around and we'll shake this offering plate for a couple of minutes, because what's an e-beggar show without a little e-begging? No Pen 15 Fathead with $5 says, go to bed. Hey, message received loud and clear. 175 away from tonight's goal. All I'm doing is shortening the number that I have to pay. That's all we're doing here in this rally, is just shortening the number that I'm going to put into the old Steel Toe Media Inc. At the end of today's show. That sounds fair enough. Just trying to cover my back end, if you will. 175 away. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, memberships. Couple more minutes left. We're gonna see what we shake loose out of this e-beggar tree, and then call it a night. I don't really forecast a rally coming. Curly Adam with $2 says, go to bed. Nobody needs water there. Burnside says, someone gave me a membership. Why? Burnside, you know how you get a membership? By being a big fan and watching a lot. All that membership shows, Burnside, and you can deny it if you want to, is that you watch our channel a whole fuckload. Which means no matter what your boyish little approach wants to say, you like the show. When someone gifts a membership, it just automatically goes to the person who watches the most. So you just log a shitload of Steel Toe hours, buddy. Thank you. Rupert with $1.99 says promo code SUPERSPREADER. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. $1.75 away from nailing this. Steel Toe out of context says, no, it's random. I'm subscribed to a channel and got a gifted membership not even 5 minutes into being subscribed to that channel. Well, it could be that everyone else already had a membership. Because the thing I've always read is that it goes by amount of time spent listening. Yule Gibbons with $5 says, broke and busy getting ready for the races. Great show tonight, though. Kept me entertained in the shop. Thank you, buddy. 170 away from knocking it out. Let's see how much I owe. by the end of the night here. Oh, boy. Let's shake that offering plate and see what we come up with. Kip Smith says, Ade du Dambala. David Chandler, bring us the money, I beg of you. Oh, he's trying to summon the Kraken. David Chandler, who, by the way, Cheetos has given a nice break to this week, which is nice. Rusty Grammer says, you have more fans than you realize. I know. They're fucking everywhere. But I think what we showed tonight is they like April more than they like me. Because it has been a small crowd tonight. In fact, we may end tonight's show under 200 people watching, which never happens. They don't want to hear me. Plus, I spent 45 minutes at the top yelling and screaming about shit nobody cares about. So there is there. That was just kind of a personal addiction of mine. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes left before we wrap things up here. $3 coming in from Raymond. Thank you very much, buddy. $3 from him. Very much appreciated. I think with those ones and twos and whatever, I think we'll be honest, we'll be fair. I think that probably equaled about 5. So we'll call that what? 165 away from tonight. There you go. I owe 165 to Steel Toe here as we have about a minute and a half left to go. Minute and a half left to go in tonight's program. And I'm going to get out of here a half hour early, it looks like. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, memberships. Oh, there go the keys. It's all falling out of the offering plate tonight. Oh, boy. Minute 10 to go. Here comes the big rally. The people who hate this show, oh, boy, do they complain about this part. What are you, begging for money? What are you, fucking retarded? Of course I'm begging for money. I have a tiny little audience. You think I can raise the money I need to make a fucking living off of just ad revenue? Get out of here. I'm not even monetizable. We have such a not potty mouth show. 165 away. Rusty Grammer says, oh boy, 155. You better start applying at used car dealerships. Get those spiffs from the True Coat upgrade. Oh, shit. I forgot about pitching that True Coat. All right, guys, 30 seconds left. I got it. We'll go to bed. You know what I'll do? I'll transfer the rest of the goal on the air once we miss it here. That's what we'll do. Here we go. Let me just get ready to transfer over the rest of tonight's goal from me to Steel Toe once we leave. All right, 10 seconds left. There we go. I've never done this before. This will be fun. We'll go from here. Got to make sure I do it right. To there. And let me hit refresh here as the music is done. The clock is up. Let me just hit refresh real quick and make sure that it's 165. Yes, it's going to be 165. Oof. What does that mean then? 230, 165, 165. We made about 70 tonight. Holy shit. I really desperately need April. That is for sure. All right, so there we go. 165. There we go. And oh, come on. There. And we hit the goal. There it is. All right. MSO says that's a win for me. Yes, that is a win for you, MSO, but here's the deal. When April comes back tomorrow, there's no excuse to not hit Thursday and Friday's goal. I will remember. All right, guys, talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. See you later. Goodbye. Talk to you soon.